Hello, hello. Good afternoon, ladies. How was everyone on this beautiful Sunday afternoon? Pre-Christmas Sunday afternoon, right? My name is Jacqueline Kabah Harrison, and welcome to a Queen's Roundtable Show, episode 9. And I have a special guest here with me today, and I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Well, good Sunday afternoon to everyone. And again, thank you so much for joining. My name is Tanyka Gilbert, and I am a licensed clinical social worker, short for long term for psychotherapist. I'm also a certified life transformation coach. Um, Let me see, what else do you want to know? How long have I done these things? Well, I've been a licensed psychotherapist for almost 18 years. Doesn't seem like that, but it's been almost 18 years. And I became a certified life coach, um, but 2.5 years ago. I found that, in my private practice, I was coaching. I was doing a lot of coaching. I was familiar with what coaching was, but you know what? I was like just doing it, working with women. And I felt the need to get certified because of the fact that there were some things that I didn't know, and education hurts no one. Education hurts no one. So I went ahead and I went through a certification, which is actually a funny story because I didn't do it by myself.
Okay.
So I was actually invited to go through the certification training with someone else who actually helped me co-found my latest business. So do you want me just to flow into that?
Flow down into it.
Okay, well, as I said, I am a psychotherapist and I have a private practice. The name of that private practice is Behind the Veil Consultations. And what I do is I work with individuals and couples who are dealing with what I call sexual and relational brokenness. And what is that? Sexual brokenness could be childhood sexual abuse. It could be date rape, whether it was in your early years, in your college years, or even in your latter years, because unfortunately, that kind of violation doesn't have an age limit.
Yeah.
And that's real unfortunate. It doesn't have an age limit. And I also work with individuals and couples dealing with relational brokenness. And that could be infidelity, that could be sexual addiction, such as pornography, voyeurism, or any of those other sexual addictions. Now, let me be honest with y'all. I did not want to do that. I'm also
I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Tell me more.
It is, but it was not something that I wanted to do.
Wasn't planned.
I got into it two ways. Let me back up. I'm also a minister. So y'all, that's my lifestyle. My relationship with God is my life. So not that I'm a preachy person, because I'm not. I'm just a real person, and I just talk real. I was a victim of childhood sexual abuse. I was also a victim of date rape. I was raped by a minister.
Wow.
And growing up, I hid those things. I learned how to play church. I learned how to hide from my family. I learned how to hide from my friends, but I also learned some very bad behaviors. And I learned some very, very bad false beliefs, like I was dirty and I was no good and I was damaged. You know, the things that we tell ourselves if you have experienced that kind of violation, whether it's abuse of any kind, not just sexual, but abuse of any kind, or a date rape. And I was telling myself, I'm all of these things that are no good, and God could never love me, and God could never use me, and no man would ever want me except for my body and except for what I could do for him. So I developed those false beliefs. And it wasn't until I was lying in a hospital bed in 1997, and me and God had a really, really good heart-to-heart conversation, father to daughter. And I told him there was no way that you could love me. There's no way that you could use me. And his response to me was, just let me love you. And I was, oh yeah, but you can't. Now I'm telling God what he can't do. Okay. And so he began to work with me and heal me in different places. Now, it was a lot of one-on-one with him. It was also a lot of one-on-one with people, because God does his best work through people. He is God, but he does his best work through people. And I'll never forget this. I am sitting in California at a week-long conference for childhood sexual abuse. And Lord wakes me up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, 3 o'clock California time is
Right.
not the same as 3 o'clock East Coast time. Okay. So he literally wakes me up and just tells me, get a pen and paper. And I don't know how long it was, but by the time he got done talking and I got done listening, I had written the business plan for behind the veil
Ooh.
consultations.
You know what? So I interviewed another lady a while back that said the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, and I'm looking at it and I'm going, but God, I'm broken. You know, I can't do this because I'm broken. And he said, that's the very reason why you can.
Right.
Because you're broken to become whole.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow. Now, that's something else he said to me years later as well. But that is how Behind the Veil consultations came about, because of things that I had experienced in my life. And he gave me the business plan. Now, you know what, women, there are some of us out here that we get either a vision from the Lord or we get, you know, this is what my purpose is. But just because we get it at that moment doesn't mean we're supposed to do it at that moment. And that's exactly what happened. He gave me the business plan, but he also gave me instructions not to start it. He told me he would tell me when.
Okay.
And so it wasn't until 2 years later.
2 years. Okay.
2 years later. And this is how he did it. He did it through my husband. We were married, gotten separated. And he knocked on my door one morning and said, okay, this doesn't make any sense to me, but here's money. And this is what you need to do. I'm going to watch our daughter while you go get your business license and everything else you need. He handed me cash down to the penny, enough money for the business license, enough money for me to get the company cell phone, enough money for me to get the laptop that I needed, and enough, yes, down to the penny, because I had all this stuff. I had all this stuff written down and figured out. We're told to write the vision and make it plain. And so he goes, and you have to go do it today. And I'm like, huh? He's like, nope, you have to go do it today. And so that's how Behind the Veil consultations came about.
And you said that was originally 1997, and then for 2 years, 1999, when you started up.
Yeah.
Wow. That is amazing.
Just how God does things. It was just amazing. And that's how that business started up. And it was like almost immediately I had women contacting me. You know, I've been looking for somebody to talk to because this happened to me. Now, here's what I love, because I'm blessed to serve anybody that comes across my path that I can serve. Now, that doesn't mean I serve everybody, because there are some people I'm not meant to serve. And we need to understand that. But those that came across my path that I was able to serve, they would say to me, and a lot of these women were women that were within the church. Now, again, I serve everybody. So all of my clients just aren't within what I'll term the body of Christ. Okay. But they were coming, and I've been dealing with this secret. And I don't know how to do this. And I don't know how to do this, or I'm serving and I'm doing this. And I feel like I'm a hypocrite. You're not a hypocrite. You've just been broken by some life challenges and some life issues. But we know the great physician.
But you know, it's just, and the thing of it is, you've been there, you know, so being able to draw people out, and because you know all of the emotions firsthand of not feeling good enough, not feeling that anyone can love you, and like you said, feeling just broken to you, just all the way broken down. You've been there. You know
the
what I mean?
shame and the guilt. Yes.
Right. All of those feelings that an individual may be holding on the inside. You know what I mean? And you can validate that and let them know that all of that is normal and that they're not alone. And that in itself, I mean,
that's life transforming. That's what it is.
That's life the phrase I'm looking for. Yep, life transforming.
Yes.
Wow, that is amazing.
And to be able to say, I know that you can get through this. And one of the things I hate to hear people say is get over it.
But now, have you heard that though a
Oh,
lot?
all the time.
Really?
Oh,
Okay.
you just need to get over it. That was years ago. You just need to. No, I don't need to get over it. You don't need to get over it. You need to work through it so that you can heal. Because
Right.
stuff that we get over comes back.
Right. Yep. It keeps resurfacing, right?
Yes.
You know what?
Yes.
I know one thing I like to use is the analogy of like a pressure cooker, because it's like you can keep, like it'll bubble up a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and you just like push it down. You call yourself, trying to maintain it, you know, and you just keep pushing it down, pushing it down, pushing it down. But the thing of it is, like you say, unless you actually allow yourself to feel those feelings and work through it, it's gonna keep cycling right on back around. And the thing of it is, and even though like work is ongoing, because I know a lot of people that aren't in the therapeutic realm, they just kind of look at it like, oh, we're going to do the work and then I'll be finished. I'll never have to deal with it again. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry. I thought I had turned everything down and
Oh,
all of
you're
a sudden,
fine. Look, I had looked over at mine, so
don't nobody message me, right? Until I get on a live,
oh, I know it.
you
I
know?
know it.
So, and people think that, oh, I'm going to deal with this and I'm not going to look back. I don't have to be bothered with it again. It's never going to resurface. And the thing of it is, once you do that work, it's not that it won't resurface again from time to time. Part
Yes.
of that work, and correct me if I'm wrong, part of that work is giving yourself or having like an arsenal or a tool belt, so to speak, or
Mm-hmm.
different ways and different techniques and coping skills to be able to utilize to effectively deal with it when it surfaces again.
Absolutely.
So that
I
it
talk.
doesn't immobilize you or cause you to,
Yes.
become stagnant.
Yes, I talk about that. I wrote a book called The Nasty Side of Healing. Um,
Okay.
and I'm
Wow.
revising it a little bit. I'm revising it a little bit, but that's what I talk about in The Nasty Side of Healing. There are times when we have to go back to places. When we talk about, we've worked through some stuff and then something else rises. And we're like, wait a minute, I thought that I had worked through this. This
Mhm.
is what I had to learn in my own life. I,
Yeah.
I say this, you all. I never talk about, or I'll never come to a person and talk about a place I have not been. I can only talk to you about an experience I've had,
Right.
and the pitfalls and the joys from learning those things, even when they've been some hard lessons. And one of the things that I learned is that sometimes God will allow you to go back to places where you thought you were healed. And it isn't because you weren't healed. It's because he loves us enough that he'll never put more on us than we can bear. So he takes us through the healing that we can handle at that time.
At that time. Yeah.
And then when we're ready for it,
Mhm.
he will take us back if there's more healing that needs to be done.
Right.
And I named the book The Nasty Side of Healing just for that. Because we talk about the glitz and the glamour of healing. Oh, it took me 21 or 31 days of these 7 steps and I was done. But you don't tell me about the grit and the grime in those 7 steps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so when I hit those steps, I either falter because I think I'm doing something wrong, or I don't know that this is a part of the healing process.
Mm-hmm.
I broke my foot this year.
Oh,
Oh, Lord,
okay.
that was, oh good Lord, the way that I did it. I live in Virginia. I live in Central Virginia. And I got up and I was going out my front door to go to work. I made it down the first step and I was holding on to the railing, y'all. I was doing real good. I went to take that second step and missed it and went down the other 9. Now,
Oh, dang.
yes.
Okay.
Now I'm sitting there on the ground, and the only thing I'm worried about is I hope nobody saw me fall. Nothing else.
Mm.
Just I hope nobody. So I'm doing like this body scan while I'm laughing and laying on the ground. I'm doing this body scan. I don't feel anything broken, so I think I can get up.
Okay.
So I do get up. I see that nothing is broken. I tore a little bit of skin on my arm. I'm like, oh, that's fine. I could deal with that.
Okay.
My foot hurts a little bit.
Okay.
I'm thinking I sprained it. So I get in and I drive to work. It's a 25-minute drive. I drive to work. I'm fine. Well, by the end of the day, my foot was like two times. Yeah. So I drive home. I don't drive to the doctor.
You know what?
I drive home. And my foot's still hurting, but I can walk and I can drive. Now, this is my right foot. This is my right foot. And y'all, I'm going somewhere with this. I'm going somewhere.
Okay. Go ahead.
So I get home. My foot is like killing me at this point.
It's like throbbing now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
9:30, 10 o'clock at night, I get up and I'm like, you know what? I need to go and I need to get this foot checked out. So I go to the emergency room. They do all that, and I drive. Okay. And I go to the emergency room. They tell me I sprained it really, really bad. But they say they give me some meds, and it's like, if it doesn't feel better in 7 to 10 days, call the orthopedic doctor. Okay. I know our orthopedic doctors around this way. So I called anyway to make the appointment, which I'm so glad I did. The woman goes, oh, well, we have an appointment. I called the next day rather. And so the woman goes, well, we have an appointment later on this afternoon. Do you want to come? I'm like, yes, I want to come. So I go to work. I drive to work. I leave work to go to the appointment. Y'all, my foot was broke. I broke.
How was you getting around like that?
I was, honey, I was driving. But here's the thing. Here's one of the points I want to bring out. Sometimes we become accustomed to the pain. Okay. And so we walk with it. Wow. Because we become accustomed to the pain. And that's exactly what I had done. Yeah. In these 48 hours, I had become accustomed to the pain. Just that fast. Yep. Wow. That's deep. So when the orthopedic doctor tells me it's called the metatarsal, and like, this is your foot. I broke it all the way across. Okay. So he tells me, he says, now this is going to hurt. Ooh. I have to set it to heal it. Okay. I ain't gonna go too deep. I'm not. I have to set it to heal it. But sometimes that's what happens with us. We have to be set to heal, which means that we're going to experience a little bit more discomfort, but there's purpose behind it. Okay. And when we're going through pain and we're experiencing pain, and when we're in the healing process, it is a lot of discomfort, but there's purpose behind the discomfort. Right. Absolutely. And so that's when I'm working with the women. These are the things that I'm talking about with them. And we look at the places of discomfort while you're walking your healing journey. And then I'm able to share with them, whether it's me in the counseling or the coaching session, or I'm a big proponent on growth, y'all. And so with me, you work. I tell people, you coming to me for counseling or coaching, you got to know we're going to work. We're going to work, because there's a place that you want to get to. Otherwise, you wouldn't have come to me. And there's a place I want to see you reach that I know you can. And so we work. Okay. And a lot of the work is uncomfortable, but not always. And that's something else I learned. And I actually shared this with a couple of my clients while I was going through, the whole process of the broken foot. And they were like, it is amazing how you would just take something as real life as a broken foot and be able to apply it to whatever my situation is. But ladies, we all can do that. Yeah. We can learn lessons almost anywhere. Anywhere, yep. And at any time in our life. Yes. And so, he said it, and it was uncomfortable. But then this is what he did. After he set my foot, he put a boot on it. Girl, that boot weighed 12 pounds. Did it? Uh-huh. And I've seen people with them, but I've never. I had the big black boot. Wow. Because of how my foot was broken, he had to protect it. Okay. Now, I'm hard-headed, y'all, because he wanted to go another route. And I was like, we can't go the surgery route. So I made a deal. You did surgery? Yes. That's what he wanted to do. Okay. I'm a caretaker for my parents, and I have a 13, she just turned 14 yesterday, daughter. So I'm like, I can't be down. I can't be down for 16 weeks because I had surgery. So I made a deal with it. I was like, how about we do this? You let me wear this boot for 4 weeks. Okay. I'm going to come back in 4 weeks. If it's not healing the way that you would like for it to heal, then we can do the surgery.
Okay.
So then he agreed to it.
Okay.
Because y'all, I'm talking my faith. And my orthopedic doctor, I've gone to him for other things. So he's very familiar with me and my faith. So he knew not to argue because he wasn't going to win. So 4 weeks later, came back and it was healing well.
Okay.
And so he was like, okay, I can see that we don't have to do the surgery. It's healing quite well, better than he thought, to be honest. But y'all, that happens with us sometimes. Sometimes we're healing better than we or other people think we are.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And sometimes, even with the boot, after he said it, he had to put a protecting around it, a covering. And in our healing process, we have things to cover us. That's why you have a life coach, or that's why you have a therapist, or that's why you have a prayer partner, or why you have a best friend that you're able to talk to, because they're covering.
Right. Absolutely.
And in healing, you will need to cover. Now, this is all the stuff I do. And I love doing it, which, let me fast forward in my life a little bit. Okay. My husband and I actually divorced.
Okay.
Being honest, it takes two to get married and it takes two to leave a marriage, no matter what anybody says.
Now, I'm sorry. Remember when you were back in 1997, when you said it was your ex-husband?
My husband at the time. We were married at the time.
Husband at the time. Okay, yep. That's a good ex-husband.
Yeah. We were married but separated.
Okay, married but separated. Okay, so okay, go ahead.
So we ended up getting divorced, and I can talk about me. That's all I can talk about. I can talk about me. Okay, I had to learn a lot of lessons through that, because I started to think, oh my God, now I really am damaged goods, because I was married and now I'm divorced, and now I'm a single parent, and now I'm in the church and I'm a minister and I'm all of this and I'm divorced, and I'm bringing on all this self-condemnation. Nobody else needed to condemn me for anything, because I was doing a good job doing it by myself. I was doing a really good job, and God had to really get a hold of me again and be like, what are you doing? And that's the kind of relationship I have with God. I mean, I can go to him and be like, now look, I could be like, oh, thou most graceful Father, thou who has made the heaven. And I honestly believe, and this is just me, I believe when I do that, because I've tried to do it sometimes, I believe God is sitting there like, I'll wait. And when you're ready to get real, I'll listen.
I like that. I'll wait.
I'll wait. I'll wait. Or when I have my pity parties, y'all ever had them pity parties? We just throw those adult temper tantrums. Yeah. And he like, you done yet? Yes, I'm done. So that's what happened. He had to get a hold of me when I was coming out my little adult temper tantrum. And he said, no, we're going to use this. We're going to use this. One of the reasons why we're divorced was because we both, but I'm going to speak specifically for me, there were still some areas where I really needed to heal. And I hadn't worked the process of the healing. And I was looking for him to be my healer. And that was not his role.
Right.
That was not his role.
Or anyone's role for that matter.
And no one.
Sometimes, and this is a whole nother subject in itself, but a lot of times we go into relationships with other individuals thinking that the other person is going to do this and they're going to do that. And basically, like you said, they're going to make us whole again, or they're going to heal us. When in actuality, we have to do that ourselves. Yeah. We have to do that ourselves.
Yeah, we're responsible for that. We're responsible for that. And I had some hidden behaviors that I had not allowed myself to be healed. Okay. Not allowed myself to be healed. And so I was looking for him to rescue me from those things. Not going to happen. Right. Not going to happen. Some other things which I'll leave at a later time in another book y'all can read. But it'll still be dealing about me and not him. And years later, let me see, the divorce was in 2013. And the funny thing about it was God was like, you know what? You're going to heal from this. You're going to grow and you are going to marry again. I'm sitting there like, no, I'm not. No, no, I'm not going through this again. I'm not going through this again. And then there were days when I go like, God, I really desire that. And if you said I can have it, then I'm gonna believe you for it. I was believing him for it, but I didn't want to believe for the work that was going to have to be done for me to be prepared for it.
Okay.
You know, and there were days when I wanted to. There were days when I wanted to do the healing work, and then there were days I don't want to do the work. Y'all, I'm just being real.
Mm-hmm.
You know, pain in the process, that's very, very real. And you can have those days, and I've had those days where I'm just all for the process, and then that pain hits, and then I'm all for the pain.
Mm-hmm.
Until I realize there's purpose in the pain, Tanyka. So let's move forward. Remember, I don't say get over it. And I will correct people all the time when they say it, because what you try to get over comes back. You're going to run into it again, and you're going to run into it harder.
Mm-hmm.
So let's work through this. And it took some years again, because God knows me and loves me so much. He knows that he got to work on me. That's why I am a work in progress.
We all
It is. My coaching practice, the title of it is actually Live on Purpose.
live on purpose. That's what I was going to
Now
ask.
we hear that a lot. You know, I'm going to live on purpose. I'm going to live on purpose. But for me, that has a very unique meaning, because my live on purpose, I look at all the things I've come through because they were a part of my purpose. They didn't feel good, but God said that he would work them for my good. And he had purpose for allowing them. The moment that I realized that God did not do those things, God did not rape me. A man did. And even in the midst of that, we can go, well, God, why did you allow it? Why did you let this happen to me? Man chose that. But God began to deal with me on all the things he protected me from that I hadn't seen behind closed doors. There were some things that people that have had the experiences that I've experienced have not been able to work through because they've been so physically and or emotionally and spiritually damaged.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't happen to me. And there was purpose behind that. Mm-hmm. So that is why I say live on purpose.
Okay.
Because God showed me a more excellent way. Okay. Rather than just, you know how I talked about earlier, becoming comfortable with the pain? Mm-hmm. You know, he showed me a more excellent way to utilize what it was I had experienced for purpose.
Right.
And so that to me is what live on purpose represents.
Yes.
You know, that's what it represents for me. Mm-hmm. So 2016, I did all the paperwork, launched Live on Purpose in 2017.
Okay.
After I gotten my certification as a life coach. And under that, under Live on Purpose, what I do is I work specifically with women who have been impacted by the trauma of sexual or relational brokenness so that they can do three things. Number one, they can work through the hurt. Mm-hmm. Number two, redefine who they are. And number three, discover their God-given purpose for life and relationships. So that is Live on Purpose.
Now, is there an age range? Because you gear it towards younger women, right?
No, I work under behind the veil consultations for my private practice, the therapy. I work with 21 years old and up.
Okay.
Yes. Now, it doesn't mean that I've been asked sometimes to see younger children. I will do that, but it is on a case-by-case basis, to be honest with you. But I specifically work with age 21 and up, and I see men and women and couples.
Women. Okay. But now for the life coaching.
No, that's the therapy part. That's behind the veil.
Right, that's
But for the coaching, yeah, it's only women. And then there's women who's 21 years old as well. 21 years old.
Yeah. Okay.
And old. Yep.
Okay. I'm glancing down and looking at your bio here. And okay, right. So you're a certified professional life and relationship transformation coach. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know you have your MSW, both have our MSW, and
Yeah.
you head for MSW, and you went to Howard.
Yes, I went to grad school. Yep, in
Okay,
Howard. Yes,
nice.
yes.
Oh, it's like I had a question, but it it has escaped me. But I just wanted to go back to, because I don't, I try to hold it because I don't want to, I don't want to interrupt you. But when you told the story about the breaking of the foot and use that analogy, or use it as an analogy for kind of getting used to the pain,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
you know, and I think that that is huge, you know, and like I work specifically with women, right? African American women. And one of the reasons behind my business is that, as a social worker over the years, and even so professionally and personally,
Mm-hmm.
I have encountered a lot of women from, different socioeconomic statuses, different educational backgrounds, married, single, and I have found a common theme of low self-esteem
Yes.
and low self-confidence.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the reasons. And the other piece, to relate to what you were saying, is that if a person doesn't, it's easier for a person to suffer with that pain, or to just get used to it and just assume, or just feel that they have to remain in that state if they don't
Mm-hmm.
feel empowered. If they
Yeah.
don't feel empowered, if they don't feel that they have the capability or the answers, lie within them to
Mm-hmm.
whatever sort of situation or hardship that they're going through, they're much more likely, shall I say, to remain in that situation.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a abusive relationship, or and that. And I think a lot of times people think, when they think about abusive relationships, they think about being beat up on, daily being beat up on. But
Mm-hmm.
there's all sorts of toxic relationships that we continue to remain in, right?
Yes.
That are physical, that may be physical, but also have an emotional component as well. And that
Mm-hmm.
could be with a spouse, intimate partner. It could be with a parent. It could be with a sibling. Just a family member in general.
Yes.
Because unfortunately, I mean, and we all have this. We all have a certain amount of dysfunction in our families.
Mm-hmm.
But I think but part of my purpose with realizing your potential was that I wanted women to know that they deserve better,
Yes.
and that they have all of the tools within them to do better. And once you know better, you do better.
Yes.
So that's why that resonated with me in terms of the just suffering through the pain. And that's why it's so good to have these open type of dialect like we're having now.
Yes.
Because like you said, there's a lot of people, a lot of women, because I'm focusing this on women. There's a lot of women that are like just suffering in silence,
Mm-hmm.
and I want them to know that it doesn't have to be like that. If they're willing to put the work in, they can manifest whatever they want to in their lives.
Absolutely.
They can, in essence, create the lifestyle that they truly desire, and surround themselves with other individuals that love them, that support them, that encourage them, have their best interests at heart,
Yeah.
and that they can actually be happy and be fulfilled,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Absolutely. And it's these kind of platforms. That's why I didn't say this at the beginning. So please forgive me. I thank you for the opportunity to be able to be a part of this platform, because it is so, so necessary. I'm just the kind of individual. I'm the kind of woman. I'm the kind of person. I'm the kind of mom. I'm the kind of daughter. I just believe in being real.
Yeah.
I don't have time for my daughter comes up to Mama. She don't even say B100. She don't say that. She said,
Right.
Mama, we don't do fake. That,
Right.
I don't have the time to be fake before you.
Right.
I,
Yeah.
I, I don't. And when we're real and we're able to just sit and talk and have dialogue, even uncomfortable dialogue, because truth be told, nobody really wants to get up every morning and be like, "Oh, I want to talk about my pain, me."
Yeah. Yep.
No, but we do recognize that healing comes in the talking,
Right.
and the
Yep.
transformation comes in the doing. And so, if
Mm-hmm.
that's what's required in order for me to be, the best me that I can be, and for you to be the best you that you can be and that you
Mm-hmm.
desire to be, and most importantly, that you are able to be, it's going to be through platforms like this, so
Mm-hmm.
that you can see, oh, wait a minute, there are women out there that have been through some stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
they've overcome.
Right.
And if she can do it, then God knows I can do it.
Yep.
And then they're
Absolutely.
willing to share how they did it. It's not I got my healing, you got yours to get.
Mm-hmm. And
No.
that's the key. That's why when I do select people to come onto the show, I like for it to be individuals that are open, that are willing to share. And like you said, willing to share what they've been through and willing to share how how they overcame it, or how they were able to heal their
Yeah.
own individual healing journey,
Yes.
and just being open enough to share that, because I think, and this is, I'm only just going to touch on this just a little bit, but I think with, all of the social media, our society is so centered around, like you go to someone's feed and, everything is all these happy moments, oh, I'm here, I'm having dinner with my besties, and I'm over here, I took a trip to Cancun and I was so happy and the beach was so nice. You know what I mean? And it's just like a lot of little snapshots of all of the good, you know. And I think that people automatically think that when they show these little snapshots, that is giving people, or they're trying to put off the image of everything is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is great. Somebody could have just took a nice picture, they smiling and this and that and the other, and an hour later they could be, somewhere alone, having a crying spell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think people need to understand that it's okay. That we are not always going to feel 100%. You know
Now,
what I
I'm
mean?
gonna be honest with you. This last month and a half has been very, very challenging for me.
Mhm.
Extremely challenging. I said it earlier. I
Yeah.
have a now 14-year-old daughter. Y'all, she'd get me if she knew I was still trying to make her be 13. Um,
Get that right.
my parents, um, not to divulge their business. Of course, we use wisdom. But my father is 92 and my mom is 82. My father is in stage 7 dementia. And that is very, very challenging, extremely challenging. Um, I'm 44 years old. There are only 2 times in my life I recall seeing my father sick. And one time was when he caught the flu. And growing up in my house, oh my Lord, there were so many of us in that house. My daddy never got the flu. We were getting the flu, we were getting colds. My daddy never got the flu. And the one time he got it, I didn't know what to do. You couldn't convince me, that my dad wasn't, and I hate to say it like this, but I don't know another way. I had never seen it before. And so to me, I was like, oh my goodness, my daddy is so, so sick, so, so ill, because it was foreign for me to see him like that. The second time was when he had a stroke, my first year at Howard. He had a massive stroke. Um, and I was just like, oh my goodness. And to see my dad bounce back from that, they were like, oh, he's going to be paralyzed. He's not going to be able to do this. Well, they called us 24 hours later talking about we had to restrain him because he was getting up out the bed. This is a man y'all said wasn't going to walk again.
Wow.
Okay. So
Really?
to see
Okay.
that, and to see, he's now in the last stage of dementia. And so it's to see him on his days that are challenged and then his days that are better than others. And that's how I term them.
Okay.
You know, that's hard to watch. And then to watch my father and my mother. I'm 44. My parents have been married over I think it's either 63 or 64 years that they've been married.
Mm.
And so can you imagine what that's like for someone you've spent 60 decades with?
No, I can't.
You know, so to help my mom navigate day by day with
Right.
that and still work.
Right.
You know, I said it earlier, to live on purpose. This is what it looks like. It is not all glitz and glamour.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It is not. So I'm very much with you when you talk about the Facebook. In fact, it was someone, I don't remember, it came through the other day because y'all, I'm really not on Facebook every day. Not like I was because I'm living life.
Right.
They were talking about how you see, you know, all of the snapshots that you were mentioning, but you don't see the other moments. And we try to pattern or try to falsely believe that our life has to be like what we see on Facebook. No. No. Even with my businesses, you all, I have had challenges in my business. I shut down behind the veil consultations for
Okay.
a year because, you know, you can give and give and give and give, but if you're not getting filled back up,
Mm-hmm.
and for that superwoman syndrome, oh, that's real. that is
Mm-hmm.
that is real. And I had to recognize, you know what? I need to take a break. And
Mm-hmm.
ladies, there is nothing wrong with it within your business needing to take that break.
Mm-hmm. And
There is,
like, and to replenish,
yes,
because you can't keep
replenish,
pulling from an empty
because
cup.
you've got to. What does a car that running on empty do? Eventually it shuts down
Mm-hmm.
and somebody else has to come and fill your tank.
Yeah.
And oftentimes what happens when we live in that superwoman syndrome, we get broken down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And thank God I had the wherewithal to recognize it the second time, because the first time I didn't. Told y'all I was going to be real.
Right.
The first time I didn't. But thank God the second time I had the wherewithal. And I did. I let my clients know. They were able to get to a place where they could be, you know, either transferred to someone else, or they were at a good place in their healing that we did what we call the maintenance work.
Okay.
You know, I had to do that for a year.
Yeah.
And so, to be honest, Behind the Veil Consultations has been back open since October.
Okay.
That's it.
You know what? And people need to hear that. Ladies, y'all need to hear that. Because, I know I talk a lot about self-care.
Yes.
Right? You have to practice self-care. It's not optional. It's not something, oh, if I get a chance, or if I have time, it's something that, and especially doing the type of work that we do,
Mm-hmm.
working with other people and helping them through their transformation, and it's like you have to constantly replenish, like how you use the analogy with the car. I mean, you can't run on fumes, and the thing of it is, and I think, I don't know where we get this. I mean, I have some thoughts, but in reference to, like you mentioned, wearing the cape, it's just like, I think women in general, and especially African American women, we become so used to just handling things, and I've interviewed a lot of women that have told me that, just growing up, they learned to just take on,
Mm-hmm.
just to pretend everything is okay. Don't rock the boat. Just, be a good little girl, just nod your head, and, just, don't say anything out of the way. Don't really express yourself. This is how you're supposed to live your life. This is what you're supposed to do. So I've talked to like a lot of, just a big range of individuals. I mean, young ladies from like early 20s on up through their 50s,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a lot of the same programming,
Yes.
is that we constantly feel like we have to take everything on. Here we are, most of us juggle between, being a wife, or, just being in an intimate relationship, children, full-time jobs, and those of us that are business owners as well, maybe we have responsibilities in the church or just other community
Mhm.
organizations. And we just switch our little hats,
Yeah.
like almost like Wonder Woman. Remember Wonder Woman?
Yes.
She would go over there and she'd do her little spinning and
Here she is. Yes.
but the thing of it is, you have to realize that eventually you'll wear yourself down. You will wear yourself out. And if you have to be, in order to be able to achieve any personal and or professional goals, you have to be together mentally, physically, and spiritually. You can't
Absolutely.
be depleted,
Absolutely.
and think you're really gonna do yourself or anybody else or your community any good.
I had to learn that just because I could do it didn't mean I should do it.
Yep, just because you could, I like that. Just because
Hmm.
you could doesn't
Doesn't mean
mean
you
you
should.
should. Because we can do it,
Oh,
but it
yeah.
doesn't mean that we should do it.
Hmm.
We got to stop and replenish and fill up
Yeah.
that tank. I'm just
Yeah.
glancing here because I wanted to, let me see, we talked about challenges. I'm just looking at the time. So you've given us a very good idea of, you've been very detailed about how you help people in your businesses, and a little bit about yourself and your why, was wrapped up in that, and your purpose. So what I want to ask you now is a couple of things. Just on a lighter note, what advice would you give to either a younger version of yourself or a young woman, maybe just graduating high school or early 20s? What type of advice would you give to her or yourself, the younger
For a
version?
younger version of me, I would say to that young lady, number one, recognize that just because you were broken in some areas of your life does not mean that you are discarded.
Okay.
Even broken things have value.
All right. Okay.
Even broken things have value.
I like.
For a young lady, I'll say it like this: the millennials. And I kind of like that term. I kind of don't like that term.
Now
But
the
I
millennials are individuals that were born in what, the 90s?
90s, yes.
Okay.
Yep. I had the opportunity to meet with a young lady in my office on Friday, and she was experiencing life. And I looked, I had to take her age into.
Uh-oh. You stuck. I don't know if oh I don't know if that's my internet connection or ah wait a minute. Hang on. Ladies, if you guys can still hear me, I don't know what happened. She was talking and then it just went blank. Or then she just stuck. Okay. Okay, ladies, we're having some technical difficulties. Ah. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Let's see. Did it get back on? Did that work? Mm. I was trying to see if she was going to be able to get back in. Okay, I may just have to end and then start back up. Okay. I think I'm going to have to go out and then go back in, ladies.
Sharon.
Oh,
Sorry about that. Okay, I don't know
hey,
what's going on.
she's back. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry.
No, that is my everything in my house. Just all the TV and the internet just went bye bye.
You
So
know what? Because mine does that sometimes.
and it came back on. So if you, I'm sorry, I'm on my phone, so it looks a lot different. So
Oh, yeah, just a little, but
okay,
okay.
yeah, I moved my hand. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. So, ladies, I'm so sorry about that. But what I was saying was, I told the young lady that I had the opportunity to meet with on Friday. I
Mm-hmm.
said, you know what? This is just a moment in your life.
Yep.
It is not. It's not the final chapter. This is not the end of the story. This is just a moment in your life. It is a
Yep.
page.
Yep.
It is a page in a book.
I like that.
That is it. It is just a page. And I would say that to any young lady that is watching now, no matter what it is you're facing or whatever it is you're experiencing. Oh, this is okay. Now I can go back to, I'm sorry. It finally came back up. So I know I
Oh, okay.
look better on my laptop than it does on my phone. So come on.
Actually, it's actually not. It's not too bad.
Okay. This is just a page. Young
Yep.
lady, this is just a page.
Just a page. Yep.
Not the final
This
chapter.
is right. This
Not
is
the end of the
temporary. It's
story.
not permanent, right?
Yep. It is just temporary. Um, I love the man that is in my life. It's a moment.
That's so
It's a moment.
sweet.
It's a moment.
Okay.
This is a moment. And
Okay.
so share with you. This is just a moment. That's it. It's just a moment.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, you know what? So let's go ahead and close out because it's like 5 minutes to 4.
Okay.
So
I enjoyed talking. Oh my goodness.
yeah, this was fun. It was fun, and it just really flowed well, and I just really enjoyed speaking with you. But before we go, let everyone know if you have any upcoming events that you'd like to share with us. I don't know, webinars, summits, maybe you're going to be speaking somewhere.
I
Let them
do.
know how they can contact you. Although I will also include your information, your website, and things of that nature in the comments, but still speak it out to us.
Okay. Um, I offer this to everybody. I call what we call a confidentiality call. And it's where you're able to have a minimum of a half an hour, maximum of 45 minutes, which really goes over 45 minutes a lot of the times. But we coaches have to say it like that. It's a free call where you are able to call and we talk. You tell me about where you are, what it is that you're seeking, where it is you want to go, and we talk about the best ways to get you there, whether it's with me or whether it's with somebody else, because again I recognize I ain't for everybody.
Mhm.
you know but I'll try to help you get what it is you need. And in order to have that free confidentiality call, all you do is the link is bit.ly/confidential with Tanyka. And I don't think I can type it, but
You know what? I can type it, and I'm gonna do it
okay. That's fine.
right now.
You know, the bit.ly links is bit.ly rather, sorry, confidential with Tanika. It takes you right to my calendar. So you get to go in and pick a time that's convenient for you. So you only have to pick up the phone to call me to schedule. Um, I love that. It's one of those ways of working smarter.
I'm sorry. Give it to me one more time. I got my thing up now. I'm
It's
typing in.
bit.ly/confidential with Tanika. And it's all lowercase. And Tanika is spelled just like my name, Tanyka.
Okay, so I have bit.ly//
Mm-hmm.
confidential with,
Uh-huh.
and then your name
Yeah.
Tanyka.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Yep. Bit.ly Tanika. And that's whether you're interested in the coaching or the therapy.
okay,
Or you're like, I don't know what I need. I don't know what I want. Feel
okay,
free. Feel free to use that link and it takes you right to my calendar where you can pick a time that works for you.
okay.
Um, I do have a book that I was a part of an anthology. It's called the I Am Healed devotional. And that will be on coming January. That's going to be on my store, which is being finalized right now. Y'all, I'm telling you, I'm living life. And, as an entrepreneur, as a mom, as a caregiver, I now balance my time.
Okay.
I balance my time and I realize I'm not getting everything done in one day.
Right.
So, my deadline is going to launch January 2nd.
Okay.
You will see that, and the link escapes me like right at this moment. I can't think of.
Well, you can go back in.
Okay,
Well, actually, can you?
I could probably
You
put it in
know,
the comments.
yeah, right. You can go back in. What am I thinking? Right. You can go back in and put it in the comments when you get a minute.
Okay, I will do that. It is going to launch January 2nd, so I am excited about
Ooh,
that. Yay!
all right. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Oh, well, you know what? You are like a breath of fresh air. And I really enjoyed, chatting with you. I mean, really, and you'll definitely hear from me in the future
Oh,
in reference to different collaborations, because I don't have my whole 2019 calendar planned out as of yet.
neither
But I
do I.
know I'm gonna work on a couple of collaborations, and I want to, bring in other therapists to talk about, different aspects of mental health and so forth. And
Okay.
I'm working on putting it together now. So I'll probably contact you in the near future.
Oh wow, I look forward to it. I do
Yeah, me too. Ooh, I
show.
like getting that information out there.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And I love collaborating with other people that are helping
Mhm.
other people.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're in Virginia, you said,
Yes,
right?
yes, I'm in
Okay.
Virginia, but I do travel. I am a speaker. I do travel, so I
Okay.
do that. And as you see, I love to talk.
You said what?
I love to talk.
Oh, I love it though. Some people you ask them a question, they answer one word, and they be looking at you like, next.
Yeah,
But no, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I really did.
thank you.
So you know what? Thank you so much, ladies, for tuning in. And for those of you that were not able to join us live, but you caught the replay, we appreciate you as well. In the comments, if you could put replay viewer, that would be phenomenal. If you have any questions for either one of us, leave that in the comments as well. So this concludes a Queen's Roundtable Show, episode 9. Thank you so much for joining us. And I want to say happy holidays to everyone. Christmas is what, a couple of days away?
Yes,
Can you believe that we are going to be in 2019 in a minute?
yes, yes.
Wow. Mm. But anyway, have a wonderful afternoon, everyone. And I'm going to go ahead and end now. Now, I'm Jacqueline Kabai Harrison, your host, and I will chat with you guys again soon. Bye, ladies.
Bye bye.